Today I am making Viennese baguette, and it's not the same as French baguette. It's actually completely different, but before start, I highly recommend that you invest in a digital scale because this is gonna be your best friend when you're baking. The Viennese baguette is much more softer and lighter, and you can also make it sweet. First, let's whip the flour. 500 grams of bread flour. I love this one with the handle on the side. So quick. To this, I'm adding 1 teaspoon salt. Give it a little whisk just to distribute that salt nice evenly. Now, for my yeast. Here I got 250 milliliters or 1 cup of warm milk. Into this, I'm adding 40 grams of sugar and 7 grams of dry instant yeast. And we'll stir it just a little bit. Don't need to stir too much. It'll melt on its own. The warm milk will help to activate the yeast. I'll let this sit for a few minutes. Okay, so it's been about 5-6 minutes. You see how it started to grow, that layer? Perfect. So it's activated. Now, flour. Into this, I'm gonna add 60 grams of room temperature butter. I did melt it a little bit because it was kind of cold, and I'm in a rush. But it's still kind of room temperatured. 60 grams. It has to be room temperature so it can blend it in easy. 2 eggs. Normally you do not add eggs to bread, but this Viennese baguette recipe says 2 eggs. So I'm gonna do 2 beautiful eggs. Make sure no shell gets in. Perfect, beautiful. Into this goes the yeast. Switching over to my workstation because I am not about to do this with hand. Make sure you lock it. This is an amazing tool to invest in, and this is gonna do the work for me. I'm looking for a texture that's still a little bit sticky. I'll show you exactly when to stop, but this is gonna go for a few minutes. Not too long, because if it's too long, it's gonna be too dense. So I see that it's mixing well, but there's a lot of flour on the wall. So, you know, just to help it out, you can scrape this flour. Not too much. You don't want to pick up any liquid on your spatula because we need all the liquid in here to make sure it's not dry. I turned up the speed to number 2 and it's looking good. It's been 4 minutes. So I see that there's a lot kind of collecting on the wall, so I'm gonna help it a little bit. Get this off. Just press down on the sides like that, just to help it combine, to make sure all the gluten is formed and there's no flour on the bottom. There's still a little bit of flour on the bottom. Now it can go back. See, it's coming together, but still need a little bit of rotation. Now it's been 8 minutes, and I'm gonna put it back to speed 1. Alright, it's been 15 minutes and look at that gooiness. So it looks sticky, but it's not super sticky, just slightly, and that's what we want. We're done with this part. Back here, again, just gonna scrape down the walls. When I do this, it helps to remove it from the spatula easily. Alright, so this is pretty much done. Ooh, nice, beautiful. It also smells really good if you like bread, yeasty bread smell. Smells so good. Now the waiting part, cover this with a cloth and put it in a warm place in your kitchen or in your home. A little secret, the top of your fridge is one of the warmest places in your kitchen for about 2 hours. Yeah, until it rises. A little tip while my bread is rising. If your bread does not rise, that means the yeast you used is dead, expired, dead. It's not rising. So that's something that you have to keep in mind whenever you buy yeast, to make sure you look at the expiration date. Okay, I also put my rope on to keep it warm because it is winter. I don't really use the heater. I also put on plastic wrap, and this is 1 hour. I still have another hour to go. So it's rising slowly, but it's rising. All right, so 2 hours is up. It got thick. It got thick. I really do think the plastic helps a little bit. Whoa, look at that. Bouncy. Sticky too. I need a little bit of flour on here. Lots of flour on my surface. Okay, and now put some flour in the spatula too. And help it out. Ooh, you see that? That's all gluten forming. Beautiful. That's a good sign. Then I'm gonna throw a little bit of flour at the end over there so it doesn't really stick to it. Helps it a little bit. Let it drop out. Perfect. Alright, let me rotate this a little bit. Gotta get the flour in so it's not sticky. Perfect. So we're just gonna work this a little bit. Perfect. It's bouncy. It's heavy. A little bit sticky. So a little more flour. Just work that dough just to bring everything together. But it's pretty much done. There's nothing else that you really need to do. So I would like 5 pieces. So what I'm gonna do is, it's pretty much the center. You have to go down. So we got 5. Yeah, they're not the same size, but that's okay. This one's a little bit bigger. That's all good. Flour, surface. Ooh, just rotate that a little bit. Got a little flour on all sides so it doesn't stick too much. All right, so I want to make 2 with chocolate. I'm gonna do these 2 with chocolate, so I'm gonna have to mix it into it. Here I have a cup of black chocolate, and I'm gonna take like a handful and work it in here. A little bit more. Like a nice chocolatey dough. All right, good enough. We're gonna do the same thing with the other one. I got about a 1/4 cup in each bun. All right, so the buns, the bread, the baguettes, let's make them. This is gonna be very simple. The dough is pretty stretchy, but once it starts stretching out, it is a little bit sticky. So you wanna kind of stretch it out this way, so it's longer, kind of like a baguette shape. Ooh. Let it, like gravity, take over. Like this. And then you get one side and you start rolling it up. Roll. That's it. And the end, kind of just push it underneath so it has a nice round end. Pushing it underneath. That's it. See how simple that was? And it is gonna grow a little bit more, so you don't have to worry about that. Over here I have wax paper, and I'm gonna put my breads on it. Now, unfortunately, I do not have the baguette maker that's supposed to like separate them and kind of keep them in place, but I'm gonna get creative and I'm gonna try to create borders between them. I got aluminum foil, so I think what I'm gonna do is try to round them up like this and then put it kind of in between so they don't touch. Rotating this up, kind of like a wall in between the two. I've never done this, so if it works out well, I deserve a prize. I'm just hoping it's not gonna kind of pick up the shape of this, but should be good. These two on the side, they might get a little thick, but this should be good. All right, I'm gonna let it rest for 30 minutes. All right, so 30 minutes later, they've risen a little bit, and I'm gonna bake this at 400 for 20 minutes. But first, we have to glaze them. 1 egg bean. We're just gonna glaze this. It's gonna give it a very nice shine. And then I'm gonna use the bread lame to cut slices into it. This is the bread lame. It's basically just a razor blade. And with this, we're gonna make cuts into it. Like that. And this will allow it to further grow a little bit. You can also use a knife. When you're done with this, get it in the oven, 400 for 20 minutes till it's golden brown. Out of the oven, and they look beautiful. And this is the finished result. They look beautiful, soft, and I hope it's delicious. Gonna cut them up and we'll see. Here's them cut up. Baked. Perfect. It's soft. It smells so good. Still warm. So, came out perfect. The chocolate is still hot, so it spreaded a little bit, but once it's cooled down, you can cut it without spreading. But it came out absolutely perfect. Okay, so these things, it really worked. Yeah, that was a good hack for this. The recipe came out amazing. I gave one of the chocolate breads to my neighbor, so it works, and it's not too sweet. I know we had a little bit of sugar in there, but it's still like a neutral side, so it will be perfect for like smoked salmon or salami, or make mini sandwiches for a party. Or you can also just cut it like this and then put ham in there and your favorite cheese, and then you have lunch for work. It's soft, so it has the baguette shape, but it's completely different from the French baguette. It's much more softer. It's so perfect. Came out absolutely amazing. I'm very happy with it. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. Yeah, this is a foolproof recipe. So if you want to make bread, make this recipe.